forgot to have my just a little bit more music. Oh, I have it at the end. I have it at the end. Hey everybody, and welcome to Just a Little More. We are back. We are back this Tuesday with a totally new episode, and we have the world's favorite couple back because y'all love the Wrights. Y'all love the Wrights. So I said, let me get the Wrights back in the seat for some good conversation. And so I know that they got some good jewels for us tonight. But here at Just a Little Bit More, we are dedicated to getting just a little bit more information. We love to get a little bit of tea, and we always like to end it with a whole lot of love. Now, Wrights, how are y'all doing tonight?
We are ecstatic. We here doing just a little more again. According to you, we back by popular demand. So, okay. So it's always good to be in demand.
They love the Wrights. I had some in the comments and everything.
Good. Well, we're so happy and so blessed to be back tonight.
Okay, well, good. Well, I know I may have a little delay on my end, so if it's a delay, I understand. But I want to get right into tonight's conversation. If you got some coffee, a little tea, come on and sip in, because this is time for a little chit chat. Now, I know y'all have seen it. Everybody has been talking about it. This pastor got over the pulpit, and she said, a lady was trying to talk to her husband and said, I got a word for just you. And she said, oh no, you got a word for both of us. And she said, when I see you in them streets, I'm coming for that A. She said, I'm coming for it over the pulpit. And now recently she did apologize because not for what she said. She said was doing it over the pulpit. But I want to know what are y'all thoughts, right? I know y'all are pastors, but what are y'all thoughts? What's your opinion on that?
First,
I'll let you go first, Pastor.
Well, I'm gonna give the answer. Well, see, me, I believe that there is a order. Because whenever God does something, He does things in order. So for both sides of the story, they both could have been handled more orderly. Now this is just my belief. I believe that I think it was the prophetess on the one side said she had a word just for the husband. I do believe there's an order to that as well. She could have possibly said, do you mind if I speak a word to your husband, or she could have called them both up and just shared the word, and it could have been for the husband, but she could have shared it with both of them. So I think that could have been handled a little differently. And then I also for the what you call it, a cussing pastor.
Cussing.
Yeah, I believe, and I strongly believe that that your pulpit is for sharing God's word. If you have any grievances, then I believe that needs to come out of the pulpit, and you share, you go forward, you bring it to that person, but not on the pulpit platform. That's just my belief in it. But so I think it could have been done a little differently. I know some other folks probably that's my saved answer. Saved answer.
Yes, he's so humble. God really uses him. But for us other people that go to the church, I stand with Pastor Jamelia. I think her name is Pastor Jamelia Good. I stand with her. I respect her, and I definitely won't ever give her man a word. But in saying that, I think that lady do need to take that warning very serious and stay out of the man inbox.
Yeah, now
I'm staying with her.
Yeah, I know it's after the fact now, but let me preface my comments by saying I hadn't watched the story. My wife kind of tried to share with me a little bit what was going on, so I don't know the full story. But from what I've been hearing, it should have been handled a lot differently than the way it should have been put out there a lot differently, and then handled a little differently. So, yeah. But when it's put out wrong, then you got to be prepared for the consequence of how it come back. So, I mean. But I do believe that the pulpit is for a different reason.
Listen, y'all better leave these co-pastors and first ladies alone. Leave that man alone. Don't you get him no word.
From what I've been seeing, better leave some of these pastors alone too. Some of them cutting up now too. This is not the season.
Yeah, really, in this point, leave people alone. Leave people alone, because right now it's a lot of crazy stuff going on. But I still stand with Pastor Jamil.
If you want to tilt, then tilt, but don't use God as your sneaky link. Don't use him as don't do that.
Right.
Leave him out of it.
Now that's good. I like that. Yes. And I'm with Pastor Tracy, which said you need to leave people alone. It's this comedian. He said he coming back for every lick that he missed. So listen, people is not playing with you in this season. So leave them alone.
Leave them alone.
He said he coming out to every lick. And also another person I think you need to leave alone. Again, we talked about them last week is Russell Wilson and Sierra. Okay. Now Sierra was looking good. She came, she completed the assignment, but she was in a risque outfit with her husband at a party together. And everybody was like, man, she butt booty naked. How's she gonna disrespect her husband like that? How's she gonna do that to him? And I was like, that kind of took me off guard. I thought they did a lot of disrespect. What are y'all thoughts about that? Y'all married. What are y'all thoughts about that?
Well, first of all, I didn't know they were together. At that part, I didn't know they were together because I think the picture that's out there is a picture of her just by herself.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know that they were there together. So apparently before they left the house, they had an understanding. And if Russell was okay with it, he's a superstar in his own right. So he's well aware that, hey, we are public figures. People are gonna look regardless of, they're gonna say what they're gonna say, regardless of where we are, who we are, what we're doing. So I mean, if they had that understanding, it ain't really much nobody else really got to say about it, to be honest with you.
Well, I stand with Lady Sierra Russell. If you look good, show it. When they said bend over, show the world. She looked amazing. And when we as
that thing said bend over.
We need to we need to support our Black women. She looked amazing. And really at this point, that's all you can say is she looked amazing. Her husband was there. Like you said, they had an understanding. She looked amazing. And I said, kudos to you, beautiful Black woman. First lady of whatever, hip hop, whatever you want to be. You looked amazing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if he didn't have a problem, nobody else should really have a problem. Like, of course, everybody. My 10th grade history teacher, he always said, "Does everybody?" He said, "Opinions are like buttholes. Everybody got one." Mm-hmm. And so when you come to that, when you come to that realization, then you kind of learn how to live your life.
And baby, I'm letting y'all know now, if I had anything that look halfway like Sierra, I'm wearing the Sunday skirt.
Well, let's make sure we get understanding. We got to get an understanding first.
If anybody got a problem, I'm like Lady Jamelia. I'm coming for that. Mm-hmm. But go on.
Y'all go to Destined for Greatness and see what Pastor T got on.
If you're in the Birmingham area, we're located.
If you're in the Birmingham area, y'all go to Destined for Greatness. Because listen, you don't know what Pastor T may come on. If you come out with Sierra got on, I'm coming down there now.
Yes, and I will preach into the heavens. Come down.
That she will.
That she really will. That she really will. But I'm gonna change up tonight's topic. I know y'all are prepared to do it, but it's still about the theme. And Pastor Leon would preach the sermon. It was your words, your world, and the power of the words that come out of your mouth. And that's been the sermon they've been doing at Destined for Greatness. But I want to go a little bit deeper in our topic, and I want to talk about generational curses and how to break generational curses, or being the first in your family to be something, to do something, or to do things differently. Because I think this ties into how we shape our world with our words. How we were raised in that, and how we, what was our, foundation and words we have. And so my first question, because I know this is probably on the spot, y'all heard like he didn't change the idea, because I thought it'd be kind of fitting. But I want to talk to y'all. I want to ask you this first question. Growing up, what were some words that, you started to hear or that shaped like your world growing up and that you had to change like later? Like, what are some things that you heard growing up? You're like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? Then you had to change like later in life.
You want personal or just overall general words that people?
Let's make it personal because the people is here. You know what I'm saying? We all can share one that's personal, but like,
okay, yeah, because that's what I wanted to
personal.
make sure before I share it without, because what I'm finna say is personal to me. I heard a lot of times that I would be just like my dad, but my dad was not active in my life. He was not visible in my life. He didn't well, his contribution to the household was through the court system via child support. But as far as quality time, face-to-face time, I didn't have that. And some of the things that he did towards my mom, that my mom saw, she started, I don't know if I was mimicking some of those behaviors, but of course I wouldn't know because he was never there in my life, so I didn't know that. But she would say things like that I would be just like him. I'm gonna be just like him. And when it came to me being with my wife, and we started having children, that was one of the things that I knew for certain. I said, no, I'm not gonna be like that, because I know what that feels like. I know what that's like to know who your father is and not be able to spend time with him, and for him not to want to spend time with you. That's a devastating feeling for especially a young man, a young African American man. That's a devastating feeling. And so I made that my business, that whether I knew how to be a father or not, I made it my business to make sure that my children will see a father, see me in the household, see me active in their life, see me supporting them. So that was one of the things that I know I had to change, that I heard growing up.
You went real deep.
That was good.
Straight for the jugular. So I'm trying to see, because oh God, in our family, so much negativity had been spoken and said to me. So I'm trying to see which one I can actually just pull out the sky. But I guess I'll share the one from Sunday, because Sunday I was exhorting before service started, and I was sharing the story of, I had one of my aunts, because I had gotten pregnant. I was a teenage mom, and I had gotten pregnant. And one of my aunts, her words to me when she saw me was, all you're going to do is have babies after babies after babies. And I remember sitting there thinking that, and I was like, because we came from a church family. So our family was in church. We grew up where you got to respect your elders. And if you say something, you're going to cut your days short and things like that. And to me, I think that really, and I'm gonna just sidebar 2 minutes, I think that puts a lot of young people at a disadvantage, because it causes you to accept the treatment from your bully. And a lot of times your people that are in your life,
say that again.
You to what did I say? Accept the treatment from your bully. And your bully could be somebody in church. It could be your elder. It could be a grown-up that is over you. It could be an aunt, a grandmama, auntie, sister, what it could be,
cousin, brother,
anybody, your boss, somebody that is bullying you. And when we were young, they beat it in us that we had to respect our elders. And if you say anything, your day is going to get cut. You're going to die early. So it made us afraid. But not only that, it caused us also to accept whatever was given to us. And or whatever was dished out and said to us, we had to accept it. But it was always something different about me, because my aunt and my grandma used to always tell me, you're very rebellious. That my grandma used to tell me, she said, you're rebellious. Like I always went against the grain. But it was not so much that I was a rebellious person. It was something on the inside of me that wanted different. It was something on the inside of me that was feisty, because what you were saying to me was not, it was going against my destiny. And my destiny was immediately fighting back. It rejected, it regurgitated what you were saying. So, and because of that, it caused the feistiness in me to stand up, which I think about that now. Again, it wasn't that I was rebellious.
That was good.
It was my destiny actually taking a stand, being flat-footed, saying, no, I don't have, Tracy, you don't have to accept that.
wouldn't let you fit in that box.
I wasn't being disrespectful. I just was not accepting what you were saying to me, because my spirit man knew then that I was going to be something great, that it was something greater on the inside of me. So when my aunt said that to me, I remember sitting there and I was like, wow, that was hurtful. But at the same time, because I was so young, I also turned around and said, God, I don't want to be a girl that's just going to have a whole bunch of children. I was young, so that's all I knew to say. But what I did do in return is I went and I talked to God, and I tell people how you talk to God is completely up to you, because there is no format. There is no right or wrong way. My thing is just get to God. Open your mouth and say something. And at that time, those were my words. God, that's not what I want. And I really honestly believe that God saw the intent in my heart, and he reached down and literally picked me up from where I was and guided me, had the Holy Spirit and my angels to cover and protect me, to show me that I did not have to accept what was said over me.
Ooh, y'all a dynamic duo. Let me tell you, because both stories just hit so close to a lot of people's lives, a lot of people's hearts. And I think that is something, even with thinking about generational trauma, generational curses, that those things are going to really, I think, going to heal a lot of people. I think for mine, I'll share a quick story, and then I'll go into the next question, which I think will be, I really want to hear what y'all have to say. But mine was, my dad, I love my dad. I had a good daddy. But my daddy said some of the most harmful things out of his mouth. And one of the things he told me, he would always call me stupid. He was like, you stupid, something wrong with you, you dumb, you stupid. And I remember I literally, and even now I have to talk myself into thinking I'm smart enough to do something. Even now. And I know I'm healed, I'm a whole grown man. But even now I have to be like, no, you're smart enough. You can handle this. You can understand it. It's nothing wrong with you. You are capable of doing. But my dad would say it, and he meant it now. He said it. He said it out of his mouth. But, like you were saying, you don't go against your daddy. You don't say, no, I'm not stupid, or you can't say that to me. You know what I'm saying? But which goes into my next question. What are the beginning steps to saying, I am going to break this? I'm going to break this generational curse. I'm going to be different. What are some of what I would say the first step? What would you say is the first step for anybody? Or even you can make it personal. What was the first step for you that you said, I'm going to break this generational curse? I'm not going to be like this. I'm going to change the words that they said. What is those first steps?
That's a good question, and it could vary from person to person. Because I guess in our situation, in our two scenarios, when it was said to me that I would be like my dad or my father, children were not in my future at that time. That was not even something I was contemplating, because I was young. Me and my wife hadn't even got together yet before then. So and so for me, my first step was to be determined. No matter how hard it is, or how hard I thought it was going to be, no matter what the unknown factors were, this is the one thing that I'm going to stand on. I'm going to stand on the fact that I'm going to stay in the house, and I'm going to be active I'm going to do the exact opposite of what I felt like, or the things that I saw my dad do. Since this is the curse that's been spoken over me, I'm going to do the opposite of what he did. So this is how I'm going to break it. I'm going to go the opposite direction. So where he failed to show up for me, especially in some of the biggest moments of my life, where he failed to not do and say certain things to me, teaching me, I said, I'm going to do the exact opposite. And so I'm going to make sure that I do those things for my children. So that, to me, I think that's a start, as far as breaking a curse, a generational curse like that. Is sometimes you have to do the complete opposite of what that person or the word that they're saying. You have to do the complete opposite.
And I would say to somebody, if this was going on, because back then we didn't have social media.
Right.
We didn't have social media. So what we had to do was we had to, the people that we saw literally were on TV. And I would
Mhm.
tell somebody, if you are going through a situation where all you have heard is negativity and it seemed like it's literally shaping and forming your world, I would tell you, find a picture of where you actually want to go. I'm gonna tell you a little secret that I did. I remember when we wanted another house, I went and found a picture of the house that I wanted. I put that picture on my cell phone, and it was my screensaver. And every day I would get up and I would look at that picture, hoping, praying, saying, God, can I have something that's nice? God, can I live in something like this? And sometimes that's what we have to do. It may sound foolish. I promise you, it may not even sound like that even makes sense, because there's faith. But actually, from doing that, I then took my little bit of faith and I manifested where I wanted to go. And I'm glad to say now I actually live in that community of where that house was. So now let's go back to the situation. I can remember looking at Claire Huxtable on TV. I can remember Laura from Urkel them. It was certain people that I looked at on TV, and I was like, you know what? I want to live a good life. I want to have a family. I want to have a husband. I want to have a house with stairs in it. That was something that was so big to me. But that's what I had to focus and I looked at. And I still actually sometimes sit back and watch some of those TV shows and episodes now, because I can remember being a young girl. And Jen, I'm actually, do you remember this? When I wanted to be a wife, it was a movie that I watched almost every day. It was called My Best Friend
Wedding.
I would watch that movie, and I kept watching it over and over and over until I manifested what it is that I wanted.
Yes.
So my advice would be to somebody: find a picture of where you're trying to go. Even if you don't know anybody in the flesh that actually is doing what you're doing, it's okay to take a picture. It's okay to take somebody off of the internet. Take that, put that, and stare at it every day, every morning when you wake up, and say, you know what, this is where I'm going. These are my goals, and these are the things that I want to do.
Oh, that's some good stuff. So I want people to get your pen and write this down. So Pastor Leon said sometimes you have to do the total opposite. If somebody told you you're gonna be this, you're gonna be all, do the total opposite of what they've already told you. Make that in your mind. I'm gonna be determined to do the total opposite. And Pastor Tracy said, get a picture, get where you want to go, see that image in front of you of where you want to go, put it in your phone, put it on your mirror, print it out. You know, old school, you got to print it out and look at it every day. And literally, you know, see yourself manifesting that. And y'all, she watched Best Friend Wedding every day. And that is a true story. And they us watching, me and mom, I was like, Lord. But yes, but seeing that, looking at it in front of you. So that's some good advice. Write that down. Now, the last thing, and this is like just a little bit more love. I always like to end with just a positive question. How do you feel being a curse breaker? Like, how does that make you feel, being that y'all are a generational curse breaker? How does that make y'all feel?
When you put it in that form like that, it's a good feeling. But I would say for those who are going to be the ones who break the generational curse, I'm gonna tell you, it's painful going through that process.
Ooh, baby.
But when you get to the other side of it, you can see the fruit of what you've done, and you could be happy with what you see. You could be happy with the product of what you have. You could be happy and you could be fulfilled. And it's amazing to look back at it, in the way you phrase the question and bring it up in that form. It's amazing to look back and say, wow, we actually did break a curse. We actually did. We broke that cycle off of our family. And then here we're about to have our oldest son he's married. He's about to have a child. So he already broke two curse. Well, because of the curse my wife broke, and then because of the one I broke. So now here he is. He got married first and then had a child. And he's going to be a father in the house that provides for his child. So when you look at the product of what you produce, or the things that you've gone through, even though I'm going to say it again, for those who are the ones who are trying to break curses off of them, it's painful going through it, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
Mm-hmm. And the only thing I'm mad, because that was amazing. Oh God, because going through it, you didn't even realize, what you said. We're curse breakers. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, give me a plate. I need a plate or a gift card. Because I ain't even realize I need a trophy. I ain't even realize I was doing this for my family time. Just sitting here listening. It's like, oh my God. So that is amazing. Lord, I thank you, God. We give you all the glory for that. I'm about to go into worship. Lord, we thank you. Thank
know this
you
ain't
for
a church
trusting
show,
us.
but
Thank you for trusting us with
Mhm.
that. But I would tell somebody, any advice I would give a person that is a curse breaker, I would tell you this, that even once you come across the finish line and you get that first one, only sit and celebrate for a little. Because believe me, the enemy is upset and he's on your trail. So just you got that one done, you got the next thing. Like my husband said, he broke the curse and it helped set the trajectory of our children. So when you're breaking those curses and you're going through it, don't just do it for yourself, do it for your bloodline. Change the whole trajectory of your bloodline, but don't just stop at one. If you can do one, go handle the next one. If your family struggle with paying bills, you be a person that now we pay our bills on time. And after you get that one down, go to the next one. If everybody in your family rent houses, you be the first one to own a house. Don't just stop there. And then when you turn around and what you actually realize is that you are now truly a curse breaker. I love it. I think we froze.
Yeah, thank you.
Y'all good? Y'all
and if I can give one last encouraging word to the I can give you one last encouraging word. It came from the message this Sunday. Is that you're able to do it.
Yes, yes, yes.
If anybody that's listening now to this broadcast, I want to let you know, me and my wife want to let you know that you are able to break that curse. You are able to do it. And when you break it and you do it, guess what? More blessings are going to come your way.
Jen, I like that. Curse breakers.
I do too.
You are
we got
curse breakers. Y'all are curse breakers.
Yes.
Yeah, y'all are curse breakers. And so kind of just to close it out, you know, if I gave just to add on, because it's like a culmination of everything y'all have said, is I always say that sometimes you got to build and create the blueprint at the same time. And the blueprint is for the people behind you, for your children, for your kids. So build and create the blueprint at the same time. And because as a curse breaker, you building, you don't have a blueprint, you don't have an image in front of you right now, but sometimes you got to be that image. You got to be that. So build and create the blueprint at the same time. I just want to celebrate the Wrights. I just want to celebrate y'all. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much for coming on just a little bit more. Y'all, please like, share, subscribe, comment below. Please, please, please check out Destined for Greatness Facebook page. Right, tell them what else y'all are doing, but definitely Destined for Greatness Facebook page. What else?
We're just Leon and Tracy on Facebook. Leon Tracy Wright, Leon Wright. Then we have the Wrights, and then we have Welcome Home with the Wrights. We have an amazing radio show every third Saturday on 92.5 FM. We're doing some amazing things in the community, but this weekend coming up, we're excited about our empowerment weekend. Pastor Leon will be spending time with the men from our ministry, and I'll be spending time with the ladies. And this is the time that we are actually getting to pour back into our people, and they get to get that one-on-one, face-to-face, down to earth, to understand how we actually became curse breakers. I'm excited about this curse breakers.
I know that was
like my mind is right. It's some great things in the conference. Amen.
You're curse breakers. You're curse breakers. And so I want to just
Wrights 205.
The Wrights 205 on Instagram. I want to invite just a little bit more family. Listen, they are not super churchy. Go and give them a try. Go give them a try. They are, when I say this, they take their call very serious. And you will be changed. Your life will be changed. But if you've been hurt by church, go here and just give it a try. Try it out. Give it a little try and see what you're doing. I always say, hear one sermon, it'll change your life. It'll change your life. So check us out. What'd you say, Pastor Leon?
I said, all you need is one word.
One word, and it can change your life. It'll change your life. So thank y'all for tuning in. I forgot to get the music again. I'm gonna have it next week. Thank y'all for tuning in to Just a Little Bit More. We love y'all. Have a good weekend, a good week, and a good weekend, and we'll see you next week.